click the blue go live. And good morning. It is 7:02 in the morning. It's the Real Monica Adams podcast, brought to you by our friends at Invita Health and Wellness. I want to go back and say thank you to our incredible sponsors, and they are just loading up, wanting to be a part of our mission statement, to give back to the world, to make a difference in this world, and again, just to start your day off with some positivity, right? I mean, what is that? Yeah, positivity. A lot of people say, what's that in life? I don't have that. You need a little more of it. Well, that's what we're here to provide for you. So, first and foremost, Invita Health and Wellness, Dr. Sarah, Jamie, thank you so much for believing in us and coming on board immediately. And then Brooke Dubman and the staff at Carroll House Furniture. Love you. By the way, if you're just new to the show, that's this set. And people are talking about this chair. Yes, you can go into Carroll House, Valley Park, Maryland Heights locations. You can find this and you can say, hey, I have the same chair that they have on the set of the Real Monica Adams show. Absolutely. This table as well as this table and the rug. So yes, if you want to decorate your home and maybe change some things up, I would love for you to copy. It's the greatest form of flattery, right, is to copy someone. We also want to thank Aldon, Indoor Air Quality Specialist. Again, we're in the hot dog days of summer, so if you're having trouble with your conditioner and they're breaking down, I want you to support our friends that are supporting this show so that we can give back, again, supporting small business. So thanks to Jeff and Toy, and then thanks to Greg and Lori for these beautiful real palm trees. The Real Monica Adams show doesn't have anything fake on this set. No fake people and no fake plants and no fake flowers either. So thank you again to Greg and to Lori of Florida Direct Palm Trees, where they're in Osage Beach, and they have a location in Hillsborough as well. So yes, you can have palm trees in the state of Missouri. They're going to be talking with us, hopefully coming up in the next week or so. We were hoping to have them on today, but they are so crazy busy delivering palm trees all over the place that he said, Monica, we got to postpone, and I promise you we will be coming on soon and giving us tons of advice on what we have to do to make sure that we can have them outside and inside. And then more sponsors have been contacting us and saying, we want to be a part of this mission and make sure that you're here for us, for the world, for years to come. And that's what it's about. So thank you to all of our sponsors. And of course, you. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you for watching the show. Whether you are brand new to the show and today's your first day, well, welcome. Or if you have been religiously waking up with us at 7 o'clock in the morning for the last 3.5, almost 4 months that we've been doing this. Yeah, actually almost 4 months. We started on March 1st, and together we have been changing lives. We have been giving that message of positivity instead of waking you up with negativity. I do want to thank the women, I should say, at Jardin du Lac, the wonderful Garden Club. They had their 50th anniversary yesterday at Lake St. Louis, and I had a chance to go out there. It was an old school tea party, high tea. We even sang I'm a Little Teapot. I'm not kidding. We had hats on, my mom, myself, we were there, probably about 50 or 60 women, and it was just a wonderful time, and I spoke about knowing your value and the importance of it. And really, what the really cool thing was, is that we wrapped up the last 50 years and we talked about how far we have come. Women have come in the workforce because they believed and they finally found their voice. So yes, it was a wonderful day yesterday. I hope you had a great one as well. For those of you that are just coming on, I want to say good morning to some of you. Hi, Linda and Kathy and Laura. Good morning to Ann. Have a great day to you as well, my friend. Dan, good morning. Sore this morning from class last night. What is she talking about? Boxing class. I kicked off last night. Yes, by the way, my classes are open until I have to get onto that wait list. So if you're interested in really turning your life around physically, mentally, spiritually, physical classes and life coaching classes, I am opening up to some of the public. So again, until we get to that, I'm very near the cutoff point, but if you are interested, just shoot me an email, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com, and I will let you know what we have available Monday nights, Saturday mornings, and a great life coaching class that we have on Thursday nights. All right, it is 7:06. I'm going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I do want to let you know that Randy Grimm, who was going to be on the show today, he had some type of a medical issue that he had to postpone, but he promises us he will come back on. So we will be talking about where he is today after he started Stray Rescue, went out on his own and did Randy's Rescue Ranch. He's got a glamping event coming up, so I do want to make sure that I give that some publicity for him. That's right around the corner. I sell some tickets for him for that event, but he can't be on today. However, I had mentioned that if we were lucky enough that we were going to get a former captain with St. Louis Fire Department. In fact, it was Riverview at the time when he retired. It was Riverview. I think they call it North County something at this point, but he was in the fire department for many, many years. And you imagine those on the front lines of fire and police. Really, there are so many levels of people that are affected by post-traumatic stress disorder. And today is PTSD Awareness Day. So we're going to be talking about that. And while we talk about it, I want you to let me know if you have a loved one that is in the fire or police sectors or on the front lines in any aspect. Remember, we talked about during the pandemic how important it was with regards to our medical doctors, our nurses, our nurse practitioners, every level that was in the hospital. There's a lot of PTSD that's just now being felt from getting past the pandemic. So understand it's not just on the first responder standpoint or in the military, because whenever we talked about PTSD in the past, it was always more so felt to be tied into the military side. And absolutely. So let's think about those veterans. Let's think about those that are serving right now, and they need to be talking and communicating of what they see, what they're going through. So Captain Pat Byrne, his wife Lisa Byrne, they started Responder Rescue. We're going to talk about the incredible organization, what he went through, what Lisa has gone through as the wife and probably still going through. We're going to talk about all of this when we return. Don't go anywhere. Thank you for tuning in for the Real Monica Adams podcast. Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment or online EnvitaHealthandWellness.com.
Carroll House is now the contemporary furniture design center.
We now have the largest selection of the latest ultra-modern furniture.
Sleek European designs, unique metals, bold lacquers, plush fabrics, and retro styles.
Modern furnishings with exclusive collections only at Carroll House.
Plus free financing, free delivery and setup, and free in-home design.
Visit the St. Louis Center for Contemporary Design inside our 3.5-acre showrooms at Carroll House.
Warm weather, sand beaches, and boats galore. It's not Florida, it's a Lake of the Ozarks. Florida Direct Palm Trees brings tropical flair to your patios, docks, and yards. From a few feet all the way to 25 feet, there are palm trees for every property. Florida Direct also provides palm tree potting soil, palm fertilizer, large decorative pots, and a wide selection of locally grown tropical flowers and plants to add the perfect accent to your tropical paradise. Florida Direct Palm Trees, bringing paradise to your patio for 14 plus years.
You know, of course, it's great to get outside and enjoy the warm weather, but when it's time to relax indoors, be sure your home stays cool with equipment and service from my friends at Aldon. 24-hour emergency service available. At Aldon, it's their commitment to continue providing above and beyond HVAC service for all of their customers. They truly care about the air you breathe. Call them today at 314-567-5585 or on the web, aldon.com. That's al-don.com, 314-567-5585. We are live on both Facebook and on YouTube. Remember, tell your friends, spread the news to the world that we are here to help you mentally, physically, spiritually have a more positive outlook on life, even if you've had the trauma and the abuse and the stuff from the past that's not serving you any longer. We've got to get that to a point where you understand that there is a better life up ahead for you. Let's just put it that way. So today we are talking about post-traumatic stress disorder, and I know it's affected so many of you. Maybe if not you, maybe it's someone that you love, and that's why today I wanted to bring in a husband-wife duo, because anyone who is a parent, a child, or a spouse of a loved one that is in fire, is police, paramedics, on the front lines, as I mentioned during the aspect of the pandemic, there were so many levels that were affected. Obviously, we talk about PTSD and we think right away of the military. So absolutely, there are so many levels. Understand that if you see or hear yourself in this today, I want you to seek out some help, whether it be counseling or we're going to talk about maybe some organizations that are there to help you so that you don't think that you have to go at this alone. That's the biggest message from today. So thank you again. I'm Monica Adams. Thank you for tuning in. Let me bring on my guest, dear friends of mine. In fact, he's known me since before I was born. So Pat Byrne and Lisa Byrne, first of all, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciate it. So Pat, we've talked about this in the past. Pat actually and Lisa started Responder Rescue how many years ago?
Oh, officially 2009, but a couple of years before that to get everything in order to get the 501c3 and all that stuff done.
And so for those who are not familiar with Responder Rescue, tell them a little bit more about the organization and why you started it.
A lot of it has to do with this PTSD type stuff. St. Louis is fortunate that we've got many resources. And one resource we saw that not sure how to fix or work with is someone who got injured off duty, can't work their secondary jobs. All those things play really deep into a first responder's life.
Yeah. That was the thing. I think there's a lot of people that obviously know about Backstoppers. They know that there's an organization there that is there to help when a loved one that's in fire, police, etc., that is killed in the line of duty. But as you know firsthand, you were in for 30 years, right? Where did you start?
I started at Ferguson.
Okay.
And then I ended up at Riverview.
Which is now what? Did you say North County?
North County Fire Protection District.
Okay. So 30 years, and we'll talk about this storied career that you have, but you saw a lot of your brothers and sisters in the fire department that were injured, and there weren't resources there for them to help them through that. That's really probably where the brainchild came from, right?
Yes. We used to say that some of the worst possible things that can happen is to get hurt, because once you get hurt, it opens up, workman's comp, the doctors, everyone gets involved. It's not cut and dry.
Right.
So you don't know if it's going to be an easy work comp or it could get very complicated.
Right. Once again, if you're just tuning in, Pat Byrne and Lisa Byrne are my guests, and we're talking today about PTSD. Why? Because today is PTSD Awareness Day. And again, it's bringing awareness to the fact that this is there. It's real. And the message today is to try to get that person to communicate, right? I know that there's a woman that reached out to me and she said, I'm trying to get my husband to talk. I ask him, and maybe I'm not saying the right things. Maybe I can get a message today from Pat or from Lisa of what it is that I need to be asking about, etc. So let's bring Lisa in, because yes, Pat was the one that's out there fighting the fires and involved in this, and we'll talk more about his career and everything that he has seen. But it's also the person that they're coming home to, right?
Yes, it is. It really is. I usually knew when something happened at work, whether he told me or not. He would be gone for a couple days, and then that first day back, it's busy, it's that. But I kind of always knew when there was a call that really bothered him, especially if it dealt with a child or, something like that, something that he had seen. His mood changed.
You could see it on his face, or what were the mannerisms?
It was his face.
Okay.
He was quiet. That's not quiet.
And you mustn't know Pat. We love Pat, and he's a good talker.
I mean, just I don't know his mannerisms. I don't know. Most husband, your spouse's mannerism. You just do, and I felt it. I don't know. I just felt it. Sometimes he would come home and he would talk about it. Sometimes he wouldn't. I usually would give him a day. And then I knew if he didn't really want to talk about it, I left him alone.
Yes.
I knew he had to process.
I'm glad Lisa just said that, because as many of you know, or if you don't, I am the wife of a St. Louis County police lieutenant, a very proud police wife. And yes, what we have to figure out is don't push.
Yep.
Don't try to pull it out. Let's go back to Pat for a second. You agree with that? Don't try to pull it out of you?
Yes, we'll let you know a lot of times when it's ready to come out.
But I think the thing that people are worried about is what if you don't, and days have gone by and weeks have gone by? Then what would you say firsthand that you would tell Lisa to do or tell me to do or anybody that has one in police, fire, military, etc.?
Well, fortunately, with this charity, how we say we started it for someone becoming injured. Well, as we've grown over these years, we've noticed the mental health aspect started growing way more than what we originally thought it would. And so it almost started becoming more of a mental health type of charity, or recommending great doctors, psychologists that we use. The employers themselves have really started stepping up, and they're starting with the peer programs. They're putting money towards mental health.
Awesome.
It's really becoming just like a normal health problem, like a broken arm.
Let's go back to this for a second, because obviously, Pat, you can think back 30 years ago and you're like, yes, I want to become a firefighter. Actually, let's ask that question. When did you know you want to become a firefighter? Did you want to be one when you were a little boy?
Well, I can't say that I didn't, but I did. And funny, I looked through some old yearbooks one time, and right in there I had that's what I wanted to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And if you don't know this, if you have someone that's in fire or police, understand that there's always this little dig on each other if they're right, isn't there? My husband will be like, oh yeah, whatever, firefighters, all you do is sit around and you barbecue. Right, and then
Very much.
Exactly. I love the back and forth little teasing. So 30 years again in fire, and Ferguson to Riverview, you've seen a lot, and I don't think anybody back then really, if you think about 30 years ago, put as much emphasis on the mental health side as we are seeing now. Do you feel this? I've said this a lot. Do you feel that the pandemic has given people the opportunity to have more of an awareness of mental health, and almost feeling like they have the right and the lease on life to talk about it, because people started talking about mental health more during the pandemic?
Yes, and I think it can be city by city in a way. Here in 2014 with the Michael Brown situation, that really affected our police department and fire departments, and it taxed everyone from top to bottom, state officials, the whole bit.
Right.
And that really opened eyes to new things that are developing that get put on your plate, that next time you go out, you might have to deal with these sort of things now.
Right. Do you feel that, obviously, as the world is continuing to change and there's so much being pushed, there's agendas being pushed out there, there's resources that are being taken away, so many different aspects of which you've seen in police and fire, do you think that's taxing more on the mental health?
Well, we've noticed, over the years, there are more and more organizations trying to step up, do these sort of things, get it out there to people, talk about it. And it's hard. It really is hard. And that's why it's great that, like, the unions and upper management, they're taking hold of this, and they see the need and feel the need, because it goes all the way back to your kids at home.
Yeah.
And if you're not great at home, you're not great at your career. Sometimes it can be a problem.
Absolutely. It's that ripple effect, right? We're going to take a break at 7:21. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit more. Pat just mentioned the family. Talk a little bit more with Lisa about not just the spouse, but the children, right? The parents, because everyone's concerned. And every day that they walk out of the house, people have always asked, how are you okay, hoping that he'll come back? And I said, well, you can't really live if every day you're just, you're stunted in the growth of your relationship, and you're scared, and you're texting, and you're calling, and are you going to make it home? You can't do that. So Lisa and I both can talk about that firsthand, right?
Yep.
We're talking about PTSD. I'm going to look at some of the comments. Do you have someone someone in the military, a firefighter, a police officer, first of all, let's give them a shout out. Let's thank them for the thankless, many times, service that they give us. But we love them. We thank them. We actually need you more and more to go up to a firefighter, go up to a police officer and say, we are here for you. Even though you think the world's against you, we really, truly do appreciate what you do. So that goes with military, that goes with fire, that goes with police, and that whole ripple effect of anybody that's affected. Just get people to talk or tell them that there are resources out there. We'll find out some of the resources that Pat would recommend. So don't go anywhere. PTSD Awareness Day. We'll talk more when we return. Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment or online envitahealthandwellness.com.
Carroll House is now the contemporary furniture design center.
We now have the largest selection of the latest ultra-modern furniture.
Sleek European designs, unique metals, bold lacquers, plush fabrics, and retro styles.
Modern furnishings with exclusive collections only at Carroll House.
Plus free financing, free delivery and setup, and free in-home design.
Visit the St. Louis Center for Contemporary Design inside our 3.5-acre showrooms at Carroll House.
Because you like nice things.
Warm weather, sand beaches, and boats galore. It's the Florida. It's a Lake of the Ozarks. Florida Direct Palm Trees brings tropical flair to your patios, docks, and yards. From a few feet all the way to 25 feet, there are palm trees for every property. Florida Direct also provides palm tree potting soil, palm fertilizer, large decorative pots, and a wide selection of locally grown tropical flowers and plants to add the perfect accent to your tropical paradise. Florida Direct Palm Trees, bringing paradise to your patio for 14 plus years.
You know, of course, it's great to get outside and enjoy the warm weather, but when it's time to relax indoors, be sure your home stays cool with equipment and service from my friends at Aldon. 24-hour emergency service available. At Aldon, it's their commitment to continue providing above and beyond HVAC service for all of their customers. They truly care about the air you breathe. Call them today at 314-567-5585 or on the web, aldon.com. That's al-don.com, 314-567-5585. Podcast. Again, if you're brand new to the show, thank you so much. We continue to tell you to share the past shows. In fact, you could just go back onto this page, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook, go back to some of these incredible shows that we've had and share them with your family, your friends, your loved ones, even your enemies, because sometimes I say those are the ones that we need to reach. Those are the ones that are suffering, actually. Those are the ones that might have that whole negative outlook on life. They need this show. They need this as their support. Pat's over here laughing at me. If you are just tuning in, this is Pat Byrne and then Lisa Byrne, his wife. We're talking about post-traumatic stress disorder, and I'm going to look at some of the comments for any of you that say that, yes, I've got a loved one in the military, in police and fire, and I see these things that you're talking about today. Great, so maybe that's what this show's about. Maybe we can help them. I mentioned when we came back from the break, we were going to talk to Lisa. So Lisa, you and I have said, yes, so we are in the same boat. We are the wife of a police officer and a firefighter. We absolutely, first and foremost, love what they do, right? They are the true heroes.
Absolutely. How could you not be proud of that?
Right.
I mean, seriously. I get it. Everybody's against it. Everybody's against them right now, but there's a lot of us that aren't.
No. Yes, there's a bigger community that supports, trust me. So you two, first of all, how long have you two been together?
Oh.
She's
total?
like 40?
No, 40. Shut up. 17, 18, 19, I don't know. Somewhere around about 19 years.
Okay, so he already was a firefighter when
Yes.
you, okay, awesome. You've been married how many years?
15.
15, okay.
Wait,
Congratulations.
yeah, about 15.
She's looking at the guy. The guy's usually the one like, honey, I don't know. So, okay, so he was already deep into the career when the two of you got together. And did you, at any point when you first started dating him, because this is what people always ask me, were you scared that he wouldn't return home to you and your family?
At first. It never goes away. It really doesn't go away. However, he would talk to me and talk to me and talk to me about that. And then I just learned I couldn't function in my day if I worried all day long about what was happening over there.
What did he say to you to get you to calm, to not worry every day?
Don't worry about me. Don't worry about us. We are trained. We are trained. If something happens to me, it was a drastic either accident or it was just my time. It happened. We are trained, so it doesn't happen as much as it does, as much as they're out there fighting it all day long.
Right.
He was probably more tired than it, he would go more tired than anything else, but.
I'm retired now?
Oh, well, I know
5.
it's coming up on 5.
Congrats, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, unfortunately, a medical
Yeah.
condition caused me to have to leave my career early, but
And
best job ever.
best job ever. And when, of course, you and I probably are both going to sit here and say, then why do you do it? There's a way out of finding something that you would love instead of being miserable your whole life. I'm sure that was hard for you to step away, having a medical condition that took you away from what you loved.
Yes, and sometimes it's how it happens, and in my particular case, it was instant.
Yeah.
It was woke up, everything was fine, day's going good, and by the end of that day, never stepped on a fire truck again.
Yeah. That's
And you just don't know. Could be today, tomorrow.
right.
But that's where the training comes in, and all these things. Like I said, the fire department I can speak of, they really are grasping this and going after it and really taking it seriously. And I talked to a lot of people, and somebody had made a comment, and not to take away from anyone's situation or anything else. Look at our military that go over for a couple of years, and you're forced to see things that nobody should have to see.
Yes.
And these are guys that are seeing this for a couple of years. Now picture a police officer, firefighter that are seeing it for 30, 40 years continuously.
Right.
That's a little different than 2 years.
Right.
So you can't undo 30 and 40 years as quick as you can a short time.
Well, absolutely, and especially if you're not discussing it, right? You don't. That's one question. I'll come back to Pat for just a second, but Lisa, when you did say sometimes that you would just let him go for a couple of days because you could tell.
Yeah.
All right, he's seen something. I just need him to process. I mean, I think that's a very important part that Lisa's bringing up. Processing. So if you're a parent, you're a mother, you're a father, you're a child, you're a spouse of someone that is a firefighter or a police officer or in the military, they don't want to just come home and just blurt it out.
No.
My husband says he has to turn the TV on. Do you agree with this, Pat, that you need just noise? That he even says, I don't even know what's going on the show, but immediately when he walks in the house, he has to turn it on. And he said, you don't understand this, but Pat probably will, and everybody else, that we just need a distraction. You agree with that?
Yeah.
What was it
Sometimes
for
you
you?
just don't like quiet.
Was it the same thing for you? Like, was it TV, radio, or what was it before you could talk?
I pretty much worked like secondary jobs every day when I left the firehouse, so it would kind of take my mind away from that job and to another job,
Gotcha.
which kind of kept it off of my mind. And, there are times that, you're just like, no, I'm just going home. And, that's it for the day.
Right.
But again, not every day is the same. And it could be whatever triggers a certain person. It might not even be the calls.
Yeah.
It might be their life at their job. The people they're working with. I know how things are going because in the fire career, you're working with, and living with
Yep.
5, 10 people.
Yeah, that's a difference.
It's
in
a
fire.
family.
Yes. So you would work how many days before you would return home? Was it like a 3, 4?
2 on and 4 off.
2 on, 4 off. But yes, I mean that's hard. I think about all of these women that talk about, my boyfriend or my husband is in fire and they're not there for 48 hours and we're taking care of the kids, and there's a lot. So you think about that, what they're trying to think about in their minds, what their training is to go in and fight a fire, or as a police officer to go in and see the myriad of things that they see, while trying not to be worried about what's going on at home.
Yes.
Isn't that a big deal, Lisa?
It's huge.
Yep.
And one of the things that I learned right away was I didn't really call him a lot. In the beginning, you just got to learn that. I didn't really call him a lot while he was gone. He didn't want to hear about what was going on at home because he didn't want to worry about it.
Gotcha.
When I always felt like, unless it was really bad, I was going to handle it myself. So I don't know, sometimes that will put luckily at that point of our lives, we didn't have small children to worry about.
Right.
So it was, something, wasn't as drastic. But for the wives that have the little kids, I know that's got to be really hard. It's got to be a huge stressor on them. I just really try to, it's important, I think, not to bring the stress of home to their jobs during the day, because that could be the difference between they're dealing with life and death situations.
Absolutely.
And just say they get the call, like a call, and then all of a sudden they're worried, oh my God, my little boy fell down and broke his arm.
Right.
They got to have their mind right when they're out there.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like it's a really good balance. You got to kind of make sure it's time to call. I have to call. You know what I mean? I know I don't want to bother him, but I'm going to have to call today.
Absolutely.
And it's something, to think about, I think too. And it is hard on the families.
Well, that's my point, and I think right. So Pat, it's difficult for you to turn that part of your brain off, though, isn't it? I mean, I know you're trained really, really well, but when you know that girlfriend or then wife, and again, another level would be young children. How do you not? Because it's a part of your life. How do you completely flip a switch off and act like that's not going on at home?
Right. And that's a very tricky situation for many people. Some people are very good at it and can deal with it. Other people, I get to talk to young paramedics or firefighters coming into the career. And I tell every one of them that, when you finish this and you get your job, your life will change forever. You're going to see things a different way. You're going to smell things. You're going to have to perform things. The sight, smells, all you can think of, those are all going to come flooding in. And any one of those could be something you don't like.
A trigger. Yeah. Wow, you just gave me a chill. That's again. This is why it's interesting, because Pat, we were talking about Pat coming in today, and he's like, "Don't you think everybody's heard my story?" And I said, "No, not these people. Not these people that want to hear about this and be there to help." Some of you are chiming in. Let's see. I have a nephew that's an EMT and firefighter. I'm very proud of him. Yes, please be there to support. Anytime I talk to a police person, I thank them for doing what they do. Don't you want to hear that? I mean, sometimes people think, do they really want to hear thank you? Well, here we go. We're going to ask them.
Thank you for your service.
Do you like that?
It's very respectful for people to do that. People on the job tease each other a little bit with it.
Oh, really?
It's kind of like stress relief. We don't look at the job being, bad and traumatic, and we look at it as the best job in the world.
They love it. The ones that love it.
And
It's in
that's
their
what you
blood.
want to do. But you will see things that you never want a human being to see.
Yeah, absolutely. In both fire and in police. So when that happens, there is a need for resources, organizations that are out there to help beyond the family. You and I and Lisa and my husband Jim have sat down talking about what can we do past the point of what you did for a living, right? So Jim's still in for a couple more years. You recently retired. You know other people that are currently in or they are out. When they get out, I think that's a good point. Is like, Jim, I always ask Jim, I always want to know, are you sure you're okay? And he's like, yeah, Monica, it's just a job. And then he did give me a little inkling of this. He said, I think I am. And I said, see? What,
Yeah.
Right? See, Lisa just did this. Like, yes. Right? So then it becomes, because when it's the day after day after day that you're in it, it's what you're used to.
Right.
But it's when you're out. And that's what I keep telling him. He did say, I will tell you, Monica, you getting me to talk, however, was paramount. It's something he never did before.
Yeah.
And so it's just knowing sometimes, I bet you, because Pat did say he's got 2 dogs, and those dogs, that unconditional love, you don't even have to say anything, they're just there. So we were going to bring an organization, and we will in the future, that provides animals to military and fire police that need it. What does that do for you? What do those animals do for you?
You know, a lot of times it's, you know, I don't want to call it disability, or it goes along with your need. And the dogs can be trained for many, many different things. And in my case, it's more like comfort. Or if they feel me being out of sorts or, you know, stressed, one will come up and sit next to me and like lick my arm and make sure everything's okay.
It's fascinating, aren't they?
Yes, and
It happens. It does.
it is. They're amazing creatures.
I agree. I mean, sometimes I think we don't deserve them. I just I say that all the time. I'm like, they're just absolutely. I remember, and this is when I knew, like, wow, look at these organizations and these animals really are helping. My mom used to talk about, obviously, you don't know this that are just now watching, but Pat is my mom's godson. So as I said, he's been in our family forever. But you knew when my father passed, and my mom said that the dog that we had at the time, Aussie, she swore that she knew that my mom was going through something, because she would immediately just come right, like you're saying, right by the leg, be there, put their heads on your lap and just look and try to lean in and give you the love without even being taught. But you're talking about trained animals, but I think it's innate in them, right?
Yeah.
It's the unconditional love to try to heal. They're incredible creatures.
Yep.
They are.
Yeah.
They really are.
So that, along with the love and support of your wife, and it's really, so what would you say to her for everything that she's done during all of this, of just, sometimes it's just the presence, kind of like the animal, just being there. You know that she loves you. She doesn't want to upset, so she's not going to try to pull something out of you. It's just isn't it just the presence alone?
Yeah, a lot of it is the presence and being there, you know, and you know, she's in need of something. It's recognizing that. You know, we're always reactive. We're not proactive. So a lot of times, you know, we have to have something happen before idiot brains wake up.
Wait, what was that? What's that word you used? Idiot brain.
Yes, and you know, kind of say, well,
Hello, McFly.
yeah, I don't think I should have handled it that way. And
But communication is key, right?
yes.
And I'm here to say, McFly, idiot brain didn't do that very well. What's going on? Come
Yeah.
on, tell me. And it works.
Yes.
It does. It works.
Yes.
It works.
It
That's how I
is.
do it.
And it's hard, you know, this day and age with, you know, young kids, the wife's working, the husband's working, daycare, childcare. Even some parents are in the same career on different shifts,
Yeah, that's got to be hard.
you know, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Kudos.
right. And fortunately, like I said, it's being recognized.
Yes.
And we tell each other all the time, the best thing for us is to be not needed. And we can kind of watch those trends and see when departments are starting to help with this, or you can see they're getting more help because then we start kind of backing down a little bit on stuff.
Right.
And then we start looking for, okay, what's that next thing? What's that next thing going to be?
Yeah.
You know, being injured, PTSD, I don't know what the next thing could be. You know, a lot of illnesses follow guys when they retire.
Well, you know, there's a point that that Jim brought up, Pat, that, and this is the whole part of organizations like Respond to Rescue and other organizations to help out in the mental health side. There are tons of statistics out there in both police and fire that when someone retires, when they're not in the day-to-day job of what they're used to, and they're not talking about it, divorce rates are extremely high, suicide rates are extremely high, addiction rates of drug, alcohol, right? You agree with all of that?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And you see it in both. You probably know people that have been through this.
Yes.
We deal with them.
We
day to
know
day.
people that, you know, that you sometimes are blown away. You know, that will come in and talk to us, and, you know, we don't, you know, expose who we talk to.
Absolutely.
That's up to them.
Right.
And, you know, sometimes you're just like, wow, like, you know, I never would have expected that.
Because there's a silence. It's that silent killer,
Yes.
right? It's
It is. You have to get them to talk. Like I said, I leave them alone. I do. To a point.
right to a point. That's a
To a
very
point.
a very powerful thing that Lisa's saying.
And-
To a point. You can't just say, forget it.
No, absolutely not. I'll watch it. I'll see it. The mood will change. I know him like a book. He'll start to get irritable or crabby, and I'll just say, "What was that? Really? Did you really? Really?"
Without having an attitude, because you know that
no,
they
right? No,
we
I
can
never,
yeah.
never
Right.
come at them.
Right.
Never make them feel like it's a bad thing.
Right.
Ever.
Because we will never ever
No.
understand
No.
what shoes you walked in, and that's actually. I'm gonna take a break because I want to. I want to have you tell us the best from your heart. What is best for those that are currently in, and those that are retiring? What they need, what steps they need to be doing to take care of themselves, mentally, physically, spiritually, from your heart. What is most important so that they're okay? Okay. The other is this retreat idea that we have, and how powerful it could be of not us there, but all of you who walk the walk, talk the talk, that truly understand, oh, you get it. So if you're talking, I just got to chill. I tell you, when I get a chill, it's my dad saying, yes, he'll agree with this. Both of our dads are up there going,
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
you
I
two,
know.
go. All right, we're going to take a break. I'm going to look at some of these comments. We'll finish up with Pat and Lisa, and then I'll do our devotional. I also forgot to do our 100 Days of Wellness yesterday, so I'll give you days 2 and 3, because maybe that will help you to be more well mentally, physically, and spiritually. So don't go anywhere. We have much more with Pat and Lisa when we return. Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment, or online envitahealthandwellness.com.
Carroll House is now the contemporary furniture design center.
We now have the largest selection of the latest ultra-modern furniture.
Sleek European designs, unique metals, bold lacquers, plush fabrics, and retro styles.
Modern furnishings with exclusive collections only at Carroll House.
Plus free financing, free delivery and setup, and free in-home design.
Visit the St. Louis Center for Contemporary Design inside our 3.5-acre showrooms at Carroll House.
Because you like nice things.
Warm weather, sand beaches, and boats galore. It's the Florida. It's a Lake of the Ozarks. Florida Direct Palm Trees brings tropical flair to your patios, docks, and yards. From a few feet all the way to 25 feet, there are palm trees for every property. Florida Direct also provides palm tree potting soil, palm fertilizer, large decorative pots, and a wide selection of locally grown tropical flowers and plants to add the perfect accent to your tropical paradise. Florida Direct Palm Trees, bringing paradise to your patio for 14 plus years.
You know, of course, it's great to get outside and enjoy the warm weather, but when it's time to relax indoors, be sure your home stays cool with equipment and service from my friends at Aldon. 24-hour emergency service available. At Aldon, it's their commitment to continue providing above and beyond HVAC service for all of their customers. They truly care about the air you breathe. Call them today at 314-567-5585 or on the web, aldon.com. That's al-don.com. 314-567-5585. Welcome back, 7:48. If you're late to the show, that's okay. Remember, it's always there for you after we wrap up our live. You can go back. You can watch it on replay at any point. You can pass this along to those who weren't able to watch in the morning. PTSD, a real thing, post-traumatic stress disorder. Looking at some of the comments, thank you for all of your service. Thank you, Pat. I have a lot of family in the medical field, and I'm sure they too have these feelings. Thank you for bringing awareness. Thank you for your service and the great advice. My nephew did 2 terms in the Marines in Afghanistan. He does not like 4th of July, and that's the last part I was going to bring up, actually. He stays in the basement during the fireworks. My mom just said thanks to all the firefighters and police. Thank you for first responders for everything you do for us. God bless you all for your service. I have a nephew that's an EMT and a firefighter. I'm very proud of him. Anytime I talk to a police person, I thank them as well. That's Pam Brandt. I see some new names that are just coming into the show, which is great. Again, you might want to put a hashtag out there, PTSD, firefighters, police officers, mental health. Actually, I saw one that said depression is not a joke. Absolutely, it's all those things. So before we get into the aspect of what I said before we went to the break, that's a good point. So 4th of July, since we're approaching that here coming up next week, I've heard that a lot. Military, does it affect fire and police as well?
You know, I can't say that it doesn't, because we have a lot of guys from the military that have transferred over. Fortunately, I've not run into that problem with anyone with us.
Good.
4th of July typically is a very busy time that day, and you know, that whole weekend there can be very busy.
Oh yeah, for firefighters, for police officers, and for doctors and nurses, right? It's all those things. I remember my cousin when we were a kid, and she held a Roman candle and fired back, and she burned. I was like, oh my gosh, that was my first aha of leave it to the professionals. Leave it to the professionals. So, Pat, what would you recommend? Now, you know, you're retired now, but for those that are in and those that are retired, to take care of themselves as a whole person, mentally, physically, spiritually, what's the walk you would tell them to do?
You know, like I said, a lot of the departments and the unions are really getting involved in this, and they're really putting programs together. We're working with some different people and organizations. Like you say, the retreat. People love, you know, gathering around and just open talking about their issues, and that heals in a lot of ways. So you know, I look into something like that, groups that you could sit in on, and you know, there's no judging. It's you know, whatever. We've got doctors that'll see you privately, and or pretty much if groups from 2 to 20.
We'll talk about what he mentioned with regards to the retreat in just a second. Lisa, so, you know, one of the things you had mentioned during the break is how important you think it is for Pat and others to go out and have their men time. Why is that?
When he retired, I could tell, because it was abrupt. So I don't, just everybody's going to be different,
Sure.
but it just was there, and then he did not have it. And I know, besides working and enjoying his job, he enjoyed going to the men's club. I'm not trying to. There are women, I get it, but, and just, you know, being around the guys, you know, talking, saying what he wanted to say. You know, he liked they were friends. They've been working together for a long time. He missed that.
Sure.
I knew it. I knew it immediately that he missed it. He was kind of moping around, and he was acting like it didn't bother him. One of those things, I left him alone for a couple of days, and then I'm like, look, you need to go you need to go see those guys. I know there's some groups of the retirees in the fire department anyway, they get together once a month for lunches and things like that. And in the beginning, I noticed he kind of wasn't going, and then finally I'm like, you need to go.
Yeah.
You need to go talk to those guys. They need to stay busy. They need to talk about that job with them,
Because they understand.
Yes, they
Yeah,
do. And
right.
I knew he missed it. I just did. I knew he missed it.
Absolutely.
So I just kind of encouraged them, and I think that's what they should do if they're starting to retire. Just as a wife, a girlfriend, whatever, encourage them to go see the guys.
Yep.
Encourage him to go, do what he, like that, do what he's got to do. Stay busy. Don't, try to get him out of the house. Try to stay busy, whatever that is to you.
This
Fishing,
needs to stay busy. Right?
hunting,
Yes.
doing all of it. The mind, yes,
Yes.
the mind needs to stay busy. However you want to handle it, but
Yep.
and then I do encourage them to go see the guys that they used to be with.
Yeah.
They can.
So with Respond to Rescue, Pat, for those that are not familiar with Respond to Rescue, first, how can they find you, and what do you think are the greatest resources and things that are coming that are present maybe here in the last year, and then what you're hoping to see in the coming years?
RespondToRescue.org. You can go to the website or to contact us. It will come into the office. Lisa gets it. It gets reviewed and sees if, if it falls into our categories that we can help with. And we go from there. And it's kind of one of those things. It's a roller coaster with money coming in, money going out. COVID was bad. I mean, COVID hurt. It hurt a lot of charities.
Absolutely.
And, I've made comments in the past. People have heard it. Sometimes there starts to become too many.
Yeah.
And what are you really doing? You're really splitting a dollar that's not really helping.
Right.
So we have the HERO program.
There's the HERO program is helping emergency responders overcome, and the government actually put that into the Senate now.
Great.
And that's all being worked with, and our goal is to go out of business.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
That's our goal, is to be,
Not to have to do what we do.
Yeah.
But
it's starting to reach the younger guys that are getting older. They're seeing it, they know it, they understand it, and they're adding it to our protocols on our jobs.
Yep.
And the police and the fire. They're both alike. I could never do a police officer's job. I just couldn't do it. I've been with them too many times. I would have been pulling my gun and running, and they don't want to do what I do.
Exactly.
So,
I was just going to say that.
It's a
If you
fair-
ask Jim, he'd be like, nope, he can have
Yeah.
He always says, I guess I don't understand this, but you'll understand. He's like, sometimes I think I made the wrong turn in the hallway. What does that mean?
well, when you go into the academy,
Uh-huh.
you can make a left that takes you to the police side.
Oh, he went to the left.
And you make a right, takes you to the fire side.
in the same building.
And so we always say, don't make a left.
Before we wrap up, so we are kind of in the beginning stages. We mentioned this earlier this year, and I think it's something that we feel very powerfully about. The three people in this room, my husband at home, and any of you that know someone that's a police officer or a firefighter, know that we have some ideas of what I think will truly help, and it is for not me and Lisa, and not the parents, not the kids, but them. The brothers, the sisters that are that brotherhood and sisterhood in police and in fire, that they need after they get out, or maybe even during, maybe it's during as well, that they need to know that there's someone that understands what they've gone through. It's not about going to a counselor and sitting down and talking to a psychiatrist or a psychologist and you don't understand what they went through. It's about Pat getting up there, Jim getting up there saying, it's okay to not be okay, and then to take it from there and have these breakout team building things, these workouts, these more mental, physical, spiritual, a retreat. The place where I've held the retreat at Le Champ de Flore in Stone Soup Cottage, we're actually talking to them. They love the idea, so I will let you know that that's something that we want to put into the works, because we know that would be very powerful. Don't you agree with that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
Good. Again, so respondtorescue.org. Did the King's Ball ever come back?
Yes.
Oh, hey! You heard it right here on the Real Monica Podcast. Good. It's something that I love. We all love, right? And that's a great way to raise money for such a great organization. Any last things you want to say before we wrap up?
No, thank you.
Yes.
Any chance we get to put it out there to the public to let them know that this stuff is out there.
Yeah.
Most of the people that we see, ironically, the first thing that they tell us is, I just kind of feel forgotten about.
That's huge.
So if you know somebody you worked with or, haven't thought about or talked to in a while, just give them a call.
Yep.
Check on them. How you doing? Hey, how's it going? Because when guys retire, a lot of times they're here today and gone tomorrow.
Right.
That's just, world just keeps going.
Checking in on them.
And
Yes.
Mental health checks.
Yes.
those guys feel lost.
Right.
They're like, we just felt that nobody cared.
Well, we do care, and that's why I wanted to bring Pat and Lisa on today. Thank you both for your time. ResponderRescue.org. I want you to know about the organization because, again, a lot of people know about Backstoppers, but we always talk about Backstoppers helping when someone's killed in the line of duty. There are tons, probably even more, that are affected by being maimed. They can't return to their job, the mental health side that they need help with, and that's where Pat, Lisa, and the entire crew that helps with Responder Rescue, that's what they do. So when you're thinking about giving to an organization, I want you to look into that. ResponderRescue.org. All right, we promise I'm going to give this to you. We'll take a quick break and we will wrap up with our devotional. But yesterday, it was to do a good deed. This is 100 things to do for well-being, for your wellness. So the first one was to start a journal. It's a very powerful thing. I'm a very big proponent of journaling. Do a good deed. And then today, take a yoga class. Okay, let's get the guys to do yoga. They're so tight.
They do at the firehouse.
Yeah. Oh, good. I love it. Let's say namaste, Pat. Namaste.
And downward dog.
Yes, you're like, my back doesn't do that. My hamstrings are tight. That's always what I would hear from the guys. No, but that in itself, right, that can help calm you and put you in a good state and take care of you physically and mentally. All right, we're going to take one final break. When we return, we've got 100 Days to Freedom. I'm actually going to let Pat and Lisa pick which one they want me to deliver to you today, which one will really drive the message home. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break. Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment or online envitahealthandwellness.com.
Carroll House is now the contemporary furniture design center.
We now have the largest selection of the latest ultra-modern furniture.
Sleek European designs, unique metals, bold lacquers, plush fabrics, and retro styles.
Modern furnishings with exclusive collections only at Carroll House.
Plus free financing, free delivery and setup, and free in-home design.
Visit the St. Louis Center for Contemporary Design inside our 3.5-acre showrooms at Carroll House.
Because you like nice things.
Warm weather, sand beaches, and boats galore. It's the Florida. It's a Lake of the Ozarks. Florida Direct Palm Trees brings tropical flair to your patios, docks, and yards. From a few feet all the way to 25 feet, there are palm trees for every property. Florida Direct also provides palm tree potting soil, palm fertilizer, large decorative pots, and a wide selection of locally grown tropical flowers and plants to add the perfect accent to your tropical paradise. Florida Direct Palm Trees, bringing paradise to your patio for 14 plus years.
You know, of course, it's great to get outside and enjoy the warm weather, but when it's time to relax indoors, be sure your home stays cool with equipment and service from my friends at Aldon. 24-hour emergency service available. At Aldon, it's their commitment to continue providing above and beyond HVAC service for all of their customers. They truly care about the air you breathe. Call them today at 314-567-5585 or on the web, aldon.com. That's al-don.com, 314-567-5585. Welcome back. 8 o'clock, and we're going to wrap things up for you. So Lisa and Pat, and I agree with this one, we picked 100 Days to Freedom from Depression. It goes right hand in hand with PTSD, with mental health. So embracing weakness. Oh, this is a good one. I always say, I swear, our dads are picking it, God's picking it, whoever. Embracing weakness. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That's actually from 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9. So, we live in a world where the norm is for everyone to share their strengths and their accomplishments, the braggadocio, right? The focus is on what we have mastered or conquered. Even when we're asked to share our weaknesses, we often frame it in a way that makes us look good. Now, let me give you an example here. An interviewer asked the question, what's your greatest weakness? And the interviewee's response, I'm a perfectionist. I think that's me being interviewed. That answer might land you the job, but what about other situations in life? What about times when you're struggling spiritually, yet you shy away from being honest? So consider this scenario. A friend says, I'm so sorry to hear about your diagnosis. How can I pray for you? Another friend, praise the Lord, God is good. We're fine. Just pray for peace and patience as I trust in his timing for a cure. On the surface, that might sound like a good answer, but what if friend 2 said, I've been praying for God to heal, but he's silent. And now I'm losing faith that God's ever going to heal me. I can't worship. I can't even pray. Many people get to a point and say, I don't think he even exists. Why would a God do this? We've all heard that. We may have even said that. That type of response cannot be spun as a strength. It's authentic. It reveals the pain and the hurt. We might give canned answers to hide our pain from others, but God knows what we're going through, and he knows our innermost thoughts. In our struggle, our pain or discomfort, our relationship with the Lord can grow and reshape how we live our lives. In our greatest weakness and failings, God shows redemption and shows grace. How wonderful it is to be able to acknowledge the ugliest thoughts and feelings right before God and let his Spirit heal our hearts and his power transform our lives. Today's prayer. Father, thank you that I can be real with you. Thank you that my authenticity with you and people who truly care for me will not result in abandonment, but rather an opportunity to watch you work in my weakness. Help me to remember that when I'm weak, I'm open to your strength. Amen to that. It's okay, right? It's okay. Pretty powerful, Pat.
Yep.
It's okay to feel weakness. It's okay to not be okay. That's the biggest thing we want to tell you is it's okay to not be okay. There's so many people that come. Again, responderrescue.org is the website that you can go to. Terry said, I'm very thankful for our police and fire. Good morning. I'll watch this video later. That's the biggest thing that I can tell you is that, yes, you get an opportunity to watch this. Thank you, Monica, for always enlightening me about this organization. Never knew it was out there. See, Pat? They haven't heard your story.
There you go. Thank you.
I like to support local. My good friend dropped out after many years in the force after a very close call. Young father of 2 beautiful children. So proud of him. Thank you always. Absolutely. So I think it's natural to question God when things keep getting worse instead of better, but God is good. Richard, that's a good point. We were just talking about all the different resources out there, and ketamine, I was just talking with Pat and Lisa about, and do you know anybody that's gone through any of those?
No.
So ketamine is something that we're going to be discussing in the very near future with Dr. Sarah with Invita Health and Wellness. There's a patient named Gilbert who does suffer with PTSD and depression and mental health, and he said he got his entire life back. So that'll be coming up in a future show. We're going to have Mobile Monica from Kirkwood tomorrow. He knows me. I'm never sitting still. Wednesdays and Fridays, by the way, we have Mobile Monica, and we come to you from Kirkwood where I do my personal training. So we're going to enjoy the rest of the day. We're going to pay it forward, the kindness. And again, anyone that you think is suffering at home, try to get them to talk. Don't push it. Don't pull it out of them. Don't force it. But also don't let them sit in silence. And look for great organizations. Reach out to Responder Rescue, responderrescue.org, and they can help navigate those waters to get them out of being so stormy and find the calmness again. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Spread the word. Share, like, comment. Let them know that we're here for them and for you as well. I'll see you tomorrow.